What's good, America? This is Reggie Florima, a.k.a. Big Flo. I'm one half of The Hard Truth, along with my co-host, Oliver Gibson. What's up, O?
What up, man? What's going on, man?
Nothing, man.
Been watching the news lately?
Man, what else is there to do? Watch Netflix. I'm almost done with Netflix. I think I got maybe one more episode of one show, and then Netflix is done. But watching the news.
I'm done with Netflix. I've exhausted every possible movie on there. Now I'm into foreign horror movies where that's not a good look. So.
Hopefully that's an endless supply there. If you find something good, let me know, and I'll give it a shot.
No.
Check it out. So, but yeah, I've been watching the news, trying to see winter's coming back in Chicago, so I guess we got to sit back in the house again.
Right. Yeah, we had a couple of 60-degree days. I'm hoping for a little bit more. Hoping we get a curve, man, so I can at least sit out on the porch and drink a mint julep or something like that. Some old school stuff.
Well, you know that'll be exciting the day that you drink a mint julep, because that means that you try to because you're not the alcohol type. So
yeah, exactly. I don't even know what mint julep is. It sounds good.
Sounds like it's a derby drink. So
right.
Anyway, we had a great show yesterday or the day before that was, and we got another special guest today. We've got a 92 ND grad, director of community and medical access, director of community medicine and Access Health Louisiana. He's also the health and wellness ambassador for the state of Louisiana. Eric Griggs, everybody. Eric Griggs. Round of applause. Hold on.
Eric Griggs. I tell you, them ND boys, man, we went out there and did it, didn't we? Got some go-getter at the Notre Dame class of 90 through 95. Shoot. Hey, Griggs, what up, baby?
What's happening, fellas? What's going on, man? OG, I know what to think. You say you're drinking mint juleps. I'm like, what is the world? The world must really be upside down right now.
Yeah, the day you see me cold one, something drastic is going on. And, yeah, man, it's a brave new world. But I thought about it, man. It's Friday. I'm going to drink a root beer or something like that. Celebrate. What about you?
Got something with a kick, right? Something with a kick.
Yeah.
Right.
I had to, I've been so busy. I'd stop. I haven't had time for any beverage or anything, alcoholic beverage or anything like that since about October, especially since things are kicked up now. This thing hit us like a ton of bricks, and you got to stay ready. So I don't even know when I get to relax when I rest about it. Because everything's changing. Like day to day, it's changing. One day you'll think this is good and bad, and I tell you what, I don't know about Chicago, but I see the numbers. There's a lot of questions out there. Like the virus, the numbers with the virus are going up, but we're talking about reopening, and it's not making scientific sense right now. And that's what I've been fighting with.
So the numbers are going up. That was going to be my first question. In Chicago, it seems like the deaths are at least leveling. I don't watch every day. I watch every so often. It doesn't seem like the shows or the numbers are getting higher. They're definitely not escalating with the same type of graph that they were before. But you're saying they're still going up, huh?
Well, so here's the thing I want to make it a point to explain. Like, so when we say the numbers are going up, like at the peak, when the numbers are going up like this, there's two things to remember. The same way they go up, they have to come back down the same way. At the virus's peak, when it first got here, we were doubling the number of deaths every 2 days, right? Then we reached a critical point, and we started coming back down. Went from every 2 to every 3 to every 4, and now we're leveling off. It's every 5 days. Name for me a period in our lifetime where it's been normal for anything to cause the number of deaths to double every 5 days.
I can't.
Nothing.
So I just finished a podcast, a radio podcast right now. Right now in the United States, there is a death every minute, every day.
From COVID.
From COVID. So what's normal about that? In the United States, we have someone dying every minute. That's not normal. So it's no time with the numbers being like that. Wait.
Let me back up. So you said there's somebody dying every minute. So there's 60 minutes in an hour times what? There's 24 hours in a day?
Yeah.
So there's that many fatalities?
In the country. Go to the Worldometer and watch the numbers as they go up. We just did it. My colleague, my partner in COVID, I'll say this is Dr. Mark Allenderry. He's an infectious disease doctor. I've been working with epidemiologists from the CDC. I've been working with epidemiologists, virologists. with the World Health Organization that consult with them. I've been working with the local health director, the state. I've been doing a lot of things, which is why I was running around a lot by myself like Chicken Little, and everyone thought I was nuts because I've been knowing about this coming, and I've been trying to get people prepared that this is bad. What's happened now is we've gotten so lulled to the point that we think that we can go back outside that we forget that the virus is still waiting. We still don't have a cure. We don't have a cure. We don't have treatment. We have nothing. What do we have? We have nothing other than stay in the house. So if you can't send your kids to school without a shot record, what do you do for the public and schools when there is no shot? You stay home. Stay home.
So you said no treatment.
That we can go outside. No, go ahead.
We're hearing about these new drugs that they're supposed to be helping. You still don't have any promise in those, or where do you stand on that?
So I did clinical trials for well over a decade on every level. I've done the incubator and the dish, the in vitro studies, all the way, everything. I did brain surgery on monkeys, dogs, cats, rats, and then I did all phases of the clinical trials, including phase 4 trials. Those trials for drugs normally take between 5, 10, 25 years. We don't have a vaccine for common cold. We don't have a vaccine for HIV. It takes forever to order, and vaccines are a lot more difficult because you have to give things to healthy patients. And if you get like 1 death per 10,000 people, you got to shut down. So the fact that we're having drug studies and trials and people are researching is excellent. That's great. But I tell people it's like being on a boat and seeing a light. If you've ever gone fishing, deep sea fishing, long day, you can't wait to get back to land.
Yeah.
You can see the lighthouse and you can see the lights, but you realize it's way far away and it's going to be a rough ride on the way back. And that's where we are with this. So it's great that they're doing it, but here's the deal. Just like we got excited about hydroxychloroquine a couple weeks ago, and now we think people are saying, oh, it's trash, don't listen to it. I don't want to ride that emotional roller coaster this entire time. They're trying everything that we can. There are 7.5 billion people in the world. We're all looking for a cure to one thing. So that's a good thing. But we're going to find a lot of things that aren't going to work, and that's the scientific process.
There's that other drug that they said was cutting the, I don't know, is it hydrochloroquine might have been, is that the malaria drug?
No, it's remdesivir that's cutting down on the hospitalizations for 4 days. I got CNN on. I keep it on now. Well, it is, and it was used for Ebola, and it reduces the days. But here's the deal: we still don't know enough about it. It's not necessarily first time in humans, which would be phase 1 clinical trial. We're at the safety and efficacy phase. They've got an emergency use authorization to use it in the most critically ill patients. But it's still, until we can get a dose, that's still not a cure. And until we can get a dose, which can be anywhere from a year to 2 years to 3 years to 5 years, that's not an answer. We don't have an answer right now. And that's just, we've never seen it. 100 years. We weren't alive. We've never seen this in our lifetime.
So realistically, approaching the 2021 school year, when it comes to kids going back to universities, kids going back to high school, middle school, or grade school, is it even possible to conceptualize putting a group of 500, 1,000, 2,000 kids together at one point, even if they get pre-screened, to actually think that they could cohabilitate in a school situation? I mean, are we 2 years out from that? I mean, is this going to be a gap year in education? What do you think personally?
So the first part of that question, I'm going to let you answer. Back when you lived down the hall around the corner, you think we would have stayed 6 feet away from each other? How can you wrestle with somebody 6 feet away from each other?
Yeah, that's true.
And at that age, you're trying to get as close to as many people as you possibly can.
Okay, hey, family show.
Oh, man, I was keeping it clean.
I'm just joking.
I was talking about the wrestling and the bro hug.
Nah, keep it 100, brother. Keep it 100.
Come on, man. We got this.
But the reality is, but you have pressures. You have economic pressures that are pushing decisions. You're going to have parents that are asking those same questions based on what we're hearing and projections. And the thing about it is, you can get numbers and stats to back up anything that you think. There's some people saying as soon as fall, we'll have one. Okay, if you want to ride with that. But realistically, until we have a vaccine, I don't think it's safe. It's going to be safe for the public to be out. Now, is that practical? No, because we have to have an economy. But here's the question. If we let people out and we do things prematurely and people start to get really sick, my roommate who you know, Bryant King, who happens to be he's a nephrologist, a kidney doctor in Indianapolis, was healthy. We talked pretty much every day. We talked on a Sunday, and he was fine. That Monday, I got a call from another Indy guy, Fred Tombar, told me that Bryant was in the hospital where your O2 sats are normally 100. They were at 86. Now, Bryant is healthy. His O2 sats, the oxygen in his blood just nosedived, and he was in the hospital for a week. And I had him on TV for an interview because he survived and he's a doctor. He sounded so rough, but I didn't call him again because it disturbed me. I didn't call him again for a week because he could barely get through the conversation. This virus is real. And once it knocks on your door, I've lost 5 friends to this that I've known for 20 years plus. And I've put it in a place because I can't, you know how it is when you got to play or you got to do your deal. Yeah. I don't have time to deal with that right now because I'm on the field. I got to do what I got to do. I can't worry about it. But I've missed the Zoom funerals. I've missed the drive-through funerals. My family is 700 miles away, and I worry about my mom, my sister, my nieces, nephews. I worry about them, but I don't have time to focus on it. This virus is real. When you start getting the call, if y'all try to call me next week and I can't talk because I have a tube in my mouth, or you see me with a mask on my face and I feel fine today, then it'll be a lot more real to folks. So if you get sick after the reopening, it's going to take forever to get us back out of the house again. You understand what I'm saying?
I get it, yeah, because I mean we went from 0 to 100. You're breaking up a little bit. Can you hear him, Oliver? Can you hear him?
Exactly. I can hear you now. Yeah, the thing about it is when even using the term reopen, all I hear is open. And if I've been inside, I can't wait to get outside. And you're not getting me back in.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So what do you say to these people that keep want to compare it to the flu and saying that the flu is more deadly and we've got more deaths? To me, my thoughts are, and I guess yours are going to be more important, I look and say, all right, I've never known anyone to die from the flu, right? All these years when I hear about people dying from the flu, so I assume it's people who are towards the end of life, whatever. But like you just mentioned, healthy people who are fine one day, not maybe they have a pre-existing condition or something, but it's under control, but they're living a normal life, are suddenly falling ill to this and ending in the hospital and sometimes even dying. So I don't care about statistics personally. It's more deadly than the flu to me. It's more dangerous. So what do you say to that?
So I'm going to agree with you on the human part, but I'm going to go to the math. The flu kills 35,000 people a year. We've lost 71,000 people in the last 2 months from COVID-19.
Mm-hmm.
So what?
In 2 months.
Yeah. So why do people keep saying that? I mean, it just sounds crazy.
Well, because what happened is when this thing first started, we blew it off, and no one had died here. And they were saying, as long as it's far away, it's not a big deal. We lose 35,000 people to the flu in the United States a year. We've doubled that in 2 months, and our numbers are still going up. If you take New York State out of the equation, the numbers in every state are doing this, if you average them together. So the other thing about the flu, interesting thing about the flu, if you remember MacGyver, funny thing about the flu, the flu, the same flu, this H1N1 flu, is the one that was the one in the pandemic 100 years ago. And it wiped out, a third of the planet got
the Spanish flu?
It's the one that we learned. Yeah, well, yeah, and it was misnamed. Spain got the rap for it. It wasn't actually Spain.
Got to blame somebody. They got to blame somebody.
Yeah, and that's exactly what happened. But what happened is when these viruses first come out, all they're trying to do is they're trying to get in. They're doing what they can to try to get into our species. And what they want to do is they realize it's like somebody crashing a party. We keep having a party, and every time they sneak in, they tear the place up with their boards. And you're like, man, look, we can't keep tearing this place up. Every time we tear it up, they put us out, which is what we're trying to do, is put it out of us, right? Kill it or stop it. So what we're going to do is we're going to go in, and over time, we're going to become less and less lethal. We're going to stop tearing stuff up so much, so we're here. Kind of like the chicken pox, kind of like HIV, kind of like other viruses that get into our human species and chill out. So over time, this H1N1, this Spanish flu, this H1N1 we're talking about, has become less virulent or less lethal and more infectious over time. Does that make sense?
Yeah, easier to catch it, but not killing you as much.
Right. Yeah. So it's not to the flu's advantage. It's not to any virus's advantage to kill you. They can't survive without us. So over time, here we are. All they want to do is pass on their genes, like everyone else, like every other species, like all of us. So in order to pass on your genes, you can't kill your host. So that's what's happened. Well, this is the very beginning of this virus. So it's in right now, and it's more virulent than the flu. It's killing people. And it's not just killing the people it infects. You might not have symptoms. Neither of you might have symptoms. I dap you up, what up, dog? Give you a hug. I go home, I hug my grandmother or my mom, and it could kill her because I don't have symptoms. Up to 50% of the people with the virus right now don't have any symptoms.
I thought it was even more.
Well, speaking of barriers, have you seen any geographic maps to see areas of infection? Is one greater than the other? You know, you hear about New York State, but where is the virus concentrated?
So that's the point of saying that we need to do more testing because we don't know. We're getting that. The more testing you have, the more you can find out. And that's why they're saying some people, well, it's true. In an ideal world, you would test everybody to see who has the virus because you'd be walking around without it. And it lets you know the whole point of it's called contact sourcing. The whole point of contact sourcing is to test everyone. Once we identify you with a virus, then we can isolate you and take you out of the general population, especially if you're feeling fine and you won't pass it on to anyone else. On my other show that I was just on earlier, we were talking about Iceland. Iceland is amazing. They're at the top, up in the top 2-3 in the world for testing per million people. Like they're in the hundreds of thousands per testing, but they only have like 1,800 cases and 10 people that have died. Why? Because they've tested, and as soon as they find out someone is positive, they isolate them. The problem that we have right now is you got people who walk around feeling fine or having odd symptoms, and they're just spreading it. And until we can get enough tests, and that was the other thing, we had the supply issue. Until we can get the right tests and enough of them, and enough people to do them, we're not going to know where the virus is. We could think we're fine. Look, New Orleans, we thought we were fine. We had no idea. We had Mardi Gras, the whole nine. Next thing you know, we're skyrocketing to the top of the world because we didn't know. Had we known in an ideal world, and you know, I'm old school. Look, I'm going to help you. We're in a bar fight. I'm going to help you get out of here. Now, I did see you throw the first punch, but we ain't got time for that. We're going to deal with that when we get outside. But right now, we need to figure out what's going on and how we get out of here. And that's kind of where I am with, you know, the history. They got conspiracy theories. Personally, I don't care where it came from. I just want it out. That's like somebody letting a wild dog into your house. You don't want to know where it came from. Can we just get it out first?
Yeah,
and then we
we'll talk about it later. Yeah, you're right. That's conspiracy theory that people use that to try to make it seem like don't get the vaccine and don't do this and don't do that. And it's so much noise right now. All I know is people are still dying. So I don't know.
Yeah.
What do you think about? So in Illinois, we have to wear masks now when we go outside. So if I have a mask on and you have a mask on, Oliver has a mask on, can we still pass it somehow if one of us is sick? If everyone's wearing a mask?
So I'm glad you brought that up. If you got 2 seconds, let me get my mask. I'm going to show you something.
Go ahead. I like how you tightened them up today, Albert. It's kind of nice. You lined them up real nice.
I'm sorry?
I like how you tightened up the beard today, man. You're looking sharp.
Caught me on one of those days, man.
I know. I'll cut myself shave. I'm about to bleed to death over here. But that's a different story.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's just amazing when he talks about where we are with it because there's so much misinformation out there that you don't know what to trust, who to trust, so on and so forth. So this is definitely an education.
So I got beat. I got beat for my N95 mask, and I don't know where somebody beat me for it. So I guess things don't change.
Back in school,
but
baby.
The different types of masks we have. Like this is your surgical mask, right?
Mm-hmm.
These masks are great. What these masks do, the purpose of wearing these masks is to keep your virus and your bugs to yourself. Mm-hmm. They keep our bugs in, and it's wearing these masks. And I got one just for y'all. Y'all in Chicago, right? So I'm wearing this just for y'all. I mean, y'all can understand.
Our team isn't good enough to be upset. He might be mad about some Steelers stuff, but we're not good enough. You can't be mad at stuff in Chicago. We suck too much. We don't have the right to be mad at other people.
Wow.
The fabric mask and the surgical mask, and I will honestly tell you, so I do a lot of the public work, but I honestly tell African American men I advise against wearing the bandanas on their face because you don't want to be perceived as a threat unnecessarily.
Cops will take you out quicker than this virus will.
Yeah, you sure will. The purpose of these masks though is to keep your bugs in. The purpose of the N95 is to keep the bugs out. The N95s were the ones that you heard a lot about that we were trying to reserve for the front line, right? And for the healthcare workers that had no choice but to work with the general public. not knowing, if you remember, like I told you, that they're asymptomatic and could be shedding. They're putting their lives in jeopardy. Now, the first line responders are not just the doctors and nurses, they're the custodians, they're the respiratory therapists, they're the nurses, they're everyone that's forced to work at the hospital, but they also include your EMTs, your policemen, your firemen, the people that work at the grocery store, anyone that's considered essential. Though we want to reserve those masks for the people at the hospitals to take care of us, we want to keep in mind those people that are forced to work when everybody else has to stay home. Again, what these masks do, the ones that we wear, that if all three of us are wearing, we're reducing the amount of potential virus in our community, in the air we're breathing, by anywhere from 50 to 90%. We know this for a fact. You decrease the amount of virus available.
So the mask does filter because, I was thinking if air can travel through, then so can the microscopic viral particles. I thought maybe it was just an insulation from moisture. That's not true. No. Actually, you're right on both fronts. Now, again, back when we had hair, but you got hair in your beard, we can talk about it. Hair is about 75 microns in diameter, right? The virus is 0.1 microns in diameter. Using one of these masks to try to filter out the virus and keep it from coming in doesn't work. What this does do, it reduces the amount we spit when we talk. We spit when we laugh. We spit when we cough. We spit when we breathe. So we're reducing the amount of our own fluids that we put into the air by 50 to 90%. So if there's less there, there's less to go in. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Now, does the N95 stop? Is it both ways, or does it just protect the wearer, or does it also stop you from spitting out too?
The N95 works both ways.
Both ways, good.
But I just want people to think about the protection. You're protecting that person that is at work trying to serve you or protect you. It's protecting them for any bugs you might have.
If you don't have a mask or anything, just the stuff that sleeps out. Right. Yeah.
Well, even if you have a mask on and some gets out, it's going to stop it from going in. But what happened was part of the reason we had the shortage in supplies at the very beginning, and it feels like years ago, is because, first of all, most of the stuff we were trying to get is manufactured in China, and China was shut down. That's on that end. On the other side, we had people going to the stores buying up all the N95 masks. There was nothing. And I still don't know why people bought a bunch of toilet paper. I'm trying to figure that one out.
Yeah. I heard it gives you diarrhea. They were scared this virus will give you diarrhea. So.
Well, a little bit, but not. Man, you don't need 12 cases of toilet paper.
Yeah, you never know. So great. So why couldn't we just, as a country, and obviously supplies is an issue, why can't we just all have N95 masks and then just go back to normal? What would stop that from kind of contending? Isn't that almost like a personal isolation if everyone had on an N95 mask and walked around?
Yeah, if everyone had on an N95 mask and walked around, it still wouldn't help you if you got the virus. And everyone, N95 masks originally are meant to be worn, really one per patient, and with a max of up to 3 hours. Mm-hmm. So if you'd have to have an unlimited amount of N95, each person with a minimum, let's just say one a day. Every person in America, 335 million people with 365 N95 masks.
Okay.
Well, we don't have that supply. We'll have nowhere near that supply. The best thing for us to do, the things that we know work, evidence-based, facts, papers, stories, people that can tell you, is reducing the amount of available virus in the air and staying at home. If I know that every time I talk to Flo and O, one of us gets sick, I'm going to stop talking to y'all in person. I'm going to stay in the house until we figure out what's going on.
Mm-hmm. Amen.
It's that simple. Well, that's all they knew in 1918, and washing our hands. If we know the old school stuff works, we need to do what the old school stuff tells us to do until we find something brand new. Mm-hmm. But it's just hard with the pressure of, our economy's starting to tank, but it tanked back then. Everything that we're doing now is it's already been done before. If we study history, we can learn how to beat this. But everybody wants to put the old out. And the older we get, because we're all the same generation, the older we get, people don't realize the wiser we get. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Now you hear...
Now, Dr. Griggs, what about the food supply? What about, at some point, is it going to affect the food supply? What about when you go to the grocery store and you're in the vegetables? Is it really not affecting that, or we just we don't want to think about it?
Well, you're starting to see the beginnings and the rumblings of it now in Iowa at the meat suppliers, when they're forcing the meat suppliers to go back to work because they're running short on meat. So it's definitely supporting it. Eventually, it touches everything. We have a virus, and that's the hard part to conceptualize. We don't have an answer for. Like, I'm a doctor. People ask me medical questions based on the books and the tests and all the stuff. I can give you an answer because I can cite a study. We're writing the books now. So all the people we go to, Dr. Fauci, World Health Organization, all these folks, we don't have an answer because we don't know. And what really messes everybody head up is we'll turn around on you, man. I don't know. What you think?
I think common sense would tell you a virus gets everywhere.
Yeah, exactly. And people think that I don't know why people think common sense isn't valued. I mean, we're writing studies about what's happening. We're documenting everything. So a year, 2, 3 years from now, we can refer back to it. But in the meantime, it's part of the scientific process. So we have to make mistakes. How many times did Edison have to come up with how many mistakes did he make before he was successful? I mean, that's any scientist, right? Like there's fail, success. And we don't talk about the failures. So it's kind of rough. The hard part is what you guys referred to earlier, staying ahead of the mis and disinformation, which is why I told you, I said on the phone call that we had with Reggie back then, I'm available anytime to answer questions, to empower you and to show up. Hey, bro, I'm going to go get somebody for you. I'm going to go get Doc. I'll bring my resources to the table to validate any myths or anything that you need help with.
That's great. And I keep trying to get through as many of these myths that come up, and, we all have Facebook arguments and people bring things up. The last one I heard was, hey, if we're staying in the house, it's going to diminish our immune systems because we're not around enough germs. How quickly does our immune system drop when we isolate? Or does that just sound silly?
That's. I'm glad you said that. I almost thought we were in the locker room somewhere on the corner. I almost said something. Yeah, that sounds silly. Yes, that sounds very silly. Your immune system is dictated by how much rest you get, the foods that you eat, and how much you exercise. All these things about toxins, supplements and vitamins and all that other stuff. Your best vitamin is your food. The best way to boost your immune system is, I tell people, get checked. Go to your doctor, get checked. If you feel funny, get tested for the COVID virus, but take your pills if you take pills. Get fit. Eat healthy foods. What are healthy foods? The foods that spoil. I don't eat meat. I eat meat maybe once a month, even though I like meat. There's nothing wrong with it if people want to eat it, but I get heartburn when I eat meat. Don't eat things that make you feel bad. Color up your plate with vegetables and exercise. Exercise isn't what we remember exercise to be. Exercise is walking, believe it or not. 30 to 40 minutes a day. It'll save your knees. If you go out and try to run a marathon, there's no need to do it. Even though I like running marathons, there's no need to do it. It's exercise. Your body recognizes cardio as cardio. And then the last thing is you want to make sure you're getting enough sleep whenever you can.
Fantastic. So, got asked this question. I'm scared to ask, and Oliver asked it a little bit earlier. You think we're going to have football this year?
I think should we?
Will we?
I can't. You're gonna make me answer that.
I'm down to will we.
Everything in my fiber. I mean, absolutely, I want football, but we don't have a vaccine, and what we need to keep in mind is that once I got a puppy. I'm sorry. Once one person on the team gets infected, hey, shut up. Once one person on the team gets infected, then you're gonna have to quarantine pretty much the entire staff. So they're working on it. I know the NFL has said that there'll be a season. We're just gonna have to stay on top of it and try to be as safe as possible. And that's not a dancing answer. The science answer is no, we should not. Until we have a vaccine, no one is safe. But my heart answer, come on, it's football. Come on, you kidding? Of course I want it. But we got
American priorities.
We got it. We have to be safe. I'll say that we have to be safe.
Well, we're running out of time. Oliver, you got anything else for Mr. Griggs?
No, man. Just I definitely love to have you as a resource and appreciate your time. And if you come up with any answers, any short term, you get in touch with us, and we'll definitely put it on to broadcast it to America because we got to figure this out.
Yeah, just tell me whatever you need and any questions you have. I mean, these are great questions. I've never heard the one about the staying in the house, weaken your immune system. The more you hear, the more I need to know, because I need to hit this real quick, because at the very beginning, part of what was fueling my passion and fire, but besides the fact that I didn't want to lose anyone I loved, was the fact that African Americans were running around saying that we were immune.
Yeah, I remember that.
Oh, don't do
Yeah,
it.
It seems like 7 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
It seems like
What'd you say?
7 years ago that was the rumor, but now we're the ones that died the most.
And I'm glad you used the number 7, because in Louisiana, the number was 70% of all COVID deaths were African American. And then I had to go back into the neighborhoods and explain, listen, this is not prospective, it's not speculation. They're in there and we're counting dead bodies at the morgue. And 7 out of 10 of them look like you and me. 7 people that died look like us. So we're not making this up. So we got to figure out how to fix the messaging. We got to address, of course, the health disparities that exist before. There's a reason that we're afraid to go. There's a reason we don't take care of ourselves. But in the meantime, know that COVID-19 has a target on our chest and on our back, and it's coming for us if we don't take our pills, if we don't have honest conversations, if I don't take my information and give it to my family, you guys, to go out and spread out and stay here as a resource for the truth whenever you need it. So whatever y'all need, just let me know.
Okay. Hey, we're going to head out before. If anyone's interested in more information, you said you had other podcasts. Is there other podcasts you'd like to tell us about? We can find more information on this?
Yeah, you can find me on Facebook. It's .griggs. You can find me on Twitter, .griggs1. I have a podcast. It's called Noise Filter. I do with Dr. Mark Allen Derry, who's an infectious disease doctor. We do it daily. We have a 10-minute update. It's on Spotify and Apple iTunes and on Anchor, and it's on some other ones right now. We have a Facebook cast that we do every day at 4 o'clock. Just look up .griggs, or you can find us on YouTube, Noise Filter. Okay. The other one is on Mondays. We do the Coronavirus Corner. Myself, another pediatrician, and Dr. Derry, where we take any and all questions. We sit on a hot seat and we update people. So
I'll put all this information in the comments, guys, so that you guys can see it later, because I know there's a lot of stuff there. So again, thanks a lot. Appreciate you. We'll have you on again. We out.
Appreciate it.
Take care, baby.
All right, man. Good to see you.
Good seeing you.
All right.
But now the day has come. But let you know where I'm coming from. Yeah. No, baby, what you done for me? No, baby, set my heart. Yeah. No, baby, what you done?